week's Goal Show. International football as Europe's top sides set off on the road to Brazil 2014. In the host nation's absence, South America's hopefuls resume their World Cup qualifying campaign. There's league action from Brazil, where Clarence Seedorf is hunting for more honours. And highlights too from Major League Soccer, where the playoffs are less than 2 months away. First to Finland.
France made the headlines for all the wrong reasons at the World Cup in 2010. With that a fading memory, they embarked on their quest to qualify for the 2014 showpiece with a trip to Helsinki on Friday. Didier Deschamps replaced Laurent Blanc after France's quarter-final exit at Euro 2012 in June. This was the 43-year-old's first competitive game in charge. He'd begun his tenure with a 0-0 draw against Uruguay in a friendly in August, so Abou Diaby's early strike marked the first goal of the Deschamps era as well. The Arsenal midfielder benefiting from some fine creative play from Karim Benzema. In a group containing reigning world champion Spain, France could ill afford an early slip-up. New Tottenham goalkeeper Hugo Lloris spared them of disappointment late on, as he stopped the best of Finland's efforts, a header from Tim Sparv. Group I's other game on Friday saw Georgia beat Belarus 1-0. Spain warmed up for the start of their campaign with a 5-0 win against Saudi Arabia in a friendly.
Euro 2012 runners-up Italy began their campaign with a trip to Bulgaria. But Stanislav Manolev's speculative long-range shot saw them fall behind in Sofia.
To be a very good advantage played by Martin Atkinson.
Italy responded to turn the match around as Pablo Osvaldo netted his first international goal 6 minutes later.
Cesare Prandelli emotionless.
The Roma striker then benefited from some good fortune as Italy took a 2-1 lead into half-time.
Osvaldo's done it again, would you believe it, out of almost nothing. Italy have doubled their advantage.
However, Georgi Milanov's emphatic second-half finish ensured Bulgaria stole a point against the 2006 world champions. Elsewhere in Group B, Armenia began with a 1-0 away win in Malta, while Denmark drew with the Czech Republic ahead of the second round of matches in midweek.
Fresh from their semi-final appearance at Euro 2012, Portugal were tasked with the trip to Luxembourg as they got their latest World Cup qualifying campaign underway. Paulo Bento's team got a rude awakening here when the Group F minnows took the lead, Daniel de Motta bringing the modest José Barthel Stadium to life. Portugal were behind for 15 minutes. Cristiano Ronaldo's close-range finish halted the home crowd's excitement. And in the second half, Helder Postiga's neat control from Joao Moutinho's pass saw him slot Portugal into the lead. That's the way it stayed, as Portugal registered an unconvincing win on their travels. Russia are also in Group F. They began with a 2-0 home win against Northern Ireland in Fabio Capello's first competitive match in charge. Azerbaijan and Israel shared a 1-1 draw ahead of the midweek schedule across all 9 European groups.
Over in South America, the qualification process is already well underway. With Brazil hosting the 2014 tournament, they're not involved in qualifying this time around. So the likes of Colombia are hoping to take advantage. Having not been to a World Cup final since 1998, they hosted Uruguay on Friday, looking to move into contention. Jose Pekerman's team had won just 2 of their first 5 qualifiers. But Radamel Falcao fired them ahead here inside 2 minutes. The sought-after Atletico Madrid star continuing his rich vein of form in front of goal. Playing before a raucous home crowd in the city of Barranquilla on the Caribbean coast of Colombia, Uruguay struggled to make an impact. And within moments of the second half starting, they found themselves 2 down. Teofilo Gutierrez rattled in another for Colombia. Gutierrez was playing in his hometown, indeed in the stadium where he plays his club football. Within 4 minutes, he'd scored again. Uruguay had made an unbeaten start to their qualifying campaign, having finished 4th in the 2010 finals. But here they were soundly beaten as Colombia ignited their bid in style. Napoli fullback Camilo Zuniga added a 4th in stoppage time to cap one of Colombia's finest performances in recent years.
Ecuador didn't make it to the last World Cup. They were looking for a 4th straight home win in qualifying as they welcomed Bolivia to Quito on Friday. That run of victories on home soil had elevated Ecuador into the top 4 in the South American group. Former Real Betis midfielder Jefferson Montero had one of Ecuador's best first-half efforts, with Hugo Lloris equal to it in Bolivia's goal. Growing increasingly frustrated, Ecuador won a penalty when Luis Saritama was appended. Former Manchester City striker Philip Caicedo slammed in the spot kick as the home side made the breakthrough. It proved enough as Ecuador made it 4 wins on the bounce at home, to the delight of their Colombian head coach, Ronaldo.
Venezuela remained the only South American nation never to have appeared in a World Cup finals. But on the back of their impressive run to the semi-finals of the Copa America last year, they're confident of breaking their duck this time around. Long-serving head coach Cesar Farias took his team to Peru in pursuit of Venezuela's first competitive away win in more than 3 years. And Juan Arango's retaken free kick shortly before half-time nosed them ahead. The veteran Borussia Mönchengladbach midfielder on target in his 108th international match. But Peru emerged for the second half with fresh impetus, and another player who plies his trade in Germany got them level. Schalke's Jefferson Farfan beat the offside trap to make it 1-1 within 2 minutes of the restart. And things got worse for Venezuela when Farfan struck again, exploiting some shoddy defending to put Peru in control. But that wasn't tough enough on the away side. Gabriel Chichero's ill-advised tackle saw him shown a second yellow card and dismissed. The 10 men soldiered on with Arango coming close again from range, only to be denied by Raul Fernandez. Andre Camillo then missed an open goal as Peru threatened to put the game beyond the Venezuelans. It didn't matter in the end though, as Peru clung on to win and end a sequence of 4 straight defeats in qualifying for Brazil 2014. Their dreams of a first finals appearance since 1982 remain intact. Elsewhere, Lionel Messi scored a free kick as Argentina claimed a 3-1 win over Paraguay. Angel Di Maria and Gonzalo Higuain got their other goals. That result moved Argentina to the top of the South American group, a point clear of Chile and Ecuador, ahead of their midweek visit to Peru. The top 4 will qualify automatically, with the team that finishes 5th entering an intercontinental playoff against a nation from the CONCACAF region.
One of the most eye-catching transfers of the summer kicks off our roundup of the stories that made the headlines last week. Brazilian international Hulk making the move from Porto to Russian champions Zenit St. Petersburg, alongside Belgian international Axel Witsel. The pair moving for a combined fee in the region of €80 million, according to reports, ahead of the club's upcoming Champions League campaign. Alessandro Del Piero also caused a stir as he chose Sydney FC as his next destination after his release from Juventus. The 37-year-old, who made more than 700 appearances for the Italian Giants, penned a 2-year deal with the A-League club and will debut for them next month when the new season gets underway down under.
It's a great change for me, seeing as I've never changed teams before. A faraway place in terms of kilometres, but very close with regard to their philosophy and their project.
Keeping with the same theme, Adriano's latest comeback bid in Brazil was dealt a setback when he failed to turn up to training with Flamengo. The 30-year-old re-signed for the club last month after being beset by problems with drinking, depression and weight gain in recent years. He was given a warning by the Rio-based club, with a spokesperson claiming his absence was due to a minor car accident. And former England boss Sven-Göran Eriksson's colourful career took another twist as he found employment in Asia. The 64-year-old Swede was appointed technical director of Thailand Premier League club Tero Sasana. It's his 6th separate role since leaving his job as England manager just over 6 years ago.
Coming up in part 2 of this week's Goal Show, a Dutch international legend still going strong at the age of 36. And the latest from Major League Soccer, where the Seattle Sounders are in hot pursuit of their first ever overall title. Welcome back to this week's Goal Show. Still to come, highlights from the United States and the story of a night to forget for the Columbus crew. And FC Tokyo bid for more glory in Japan as they march into the semi-finals of the Nabisco Cup.
He's the most successful active footballer on the planet, but Clarence Seedorf doesn't appear to be slowing down in his pursuit of more honours. The 36-year-old has been starring for Botafogo in Brazil since moving to the Rio-based club in June, with them pushing for a place in next year's Copa Libertadores. Botafogo travelled to play Cruzeiro in midweek, the team immediately above them in the Campeonato Brasileiro table. It was Cruzeiro who struck first as Tinga fired in from distance. But Seedorf, who signed a 2-year deal with Botafogo after ending his 10-year spell with Milan in Italy, soon restored parity with his 4th goal for his new club. And within a minute, the Dutch international and the only man to win 4 UEFA Champions League titles with 3 different clubs was at it again. Seedorf wasn't finished there, showing pace defying his years. He set up 18-year-old Jadson after half-time, as Botafogo clinched a 2nd straight win in Brazil's national championship, enhancing their bid for a top 4 finish in the process. Seedorf may yet be able to add a South American title to his extraordinary list of career achievements.
On Thursday, 2010 champions Fluminense hosted Santos, hoping to go top of the table. Missing leading scorer Fred amongst others away on international duty. Fluminense had their faith in the likes of 20-year-old midfielder Wellington Nem, but he missed this glorious early chance to give his side the lead. He was though soon to make amends from a similar position, turning in Jean's cross as Santos struggled in the first half at the Engenhouse Stadium. Without star players Neymar and Ganso, the away side was seeking to avoid a 3rd straight league defeat. They were on terms quickly, as lonely striker Andre capitalised on some defensive hesitancy. With just 1 defeat all season prior to this, Fluminense are a hotly tipped for another national title. Wellington Nem was on the score sheet again before half-time, as the home team headed into the break, leading 2-1. Fluminense were untroubled from there on and extended their lead in the second half. Rookie midfielder Samuel Rosa on target, as Fluminense moved past Atletico Mineiro at the top of the table ahead of the weekend's games.
The weekend's results saw Botafogo and Fluminense both win again. Atletico Mineiro kept in touch at the top with a 3-0 demolition of Palmeiras. High-flying Grêmio and Vasco da Gama both lost. So after 23 rounds of the season, Fluminense have a 2-point lead at the top, with Atletico having a game in hand. Grêmio and Vasco remain in the other two Copa Libertadores qualifying positions. At the bottom, Luis Felipe Scolari's Palmeiras are facing a fight to avoid the drop after their 13th loss of the season. Santos and Flamengo both remain in danger after a poor first half of the campaign.
Two months is a long time to go without a victory. That was the predicament facing the New England Revolution on Wednesday night in the United States, as they hosted playoff-chasing Columbus Crew. Former Revs star Jay Heap is head coach of the club this season, after the departure last year of long-serving former Liverpool player Steve Nicol. And bidding to end their 10-match streak without tasting victory, New England's Uruguayan forward Diego Fagundes created the opening for the home side to seize the initiative 8 minutes after half-time. His shot hit the post, only for Frenchman Dimitri Mbongo to put away his first goal for the club. One defeat in 9 prior to this had propelled the Crew into serious postseason contention, but here they appeared weary and short of ideas. Chad Marshall's own goal compounded their misery, as New England established a 2-goal lead. Columbus rallied late on, but found New England goalkeeper Matt Rees in fine form. Nemanja Vukovic came closer than anyone to scoring for the away side, only to see his effort diverted onto the bar. And with that, the Revolution's long wait for a win was over.
Down in Texas, the Houston Dynamo were looking to end a run of 4 league games without a win at home to Real Salt Lake. With both sides missing players away on international duty, it took until 15 minutes from time for the game to spark into life. Real Salt Lake defender Chris Schuler guilty of a shove on Houston's Will Bruin. However, Brad Davis's penalty was kept out by RSL goalkeeper Nick Ronaldo. Houston goalkeeper Tally Hall was on his toes moments later, keeping out Nat Borchers. Ronaldo then kept out Bruin. And Hall denied Ned Grabavoy as the game headed for stalemate. Sadly for Ronaldo, though, his night was to end in the worst possible way. The veteran USA international's clumsy challenge on Makuma Kanji in stoppage time saw another penalty awarded. And this time, Colin Clark held his nerve to deliver a big 3 points the way of the Houston Dynamo.
A crowd of more than 38,000 were inside CenturyLink Field as the Seattle Sounders hosted Chivas USA on Saturday. The home side had lost just once in their previous 10 league outings, while Chivas were winless since the end of July. Despite that, it was the visitors opening the scoring with just 8 minutes gone. Nick LaBrocca found the target for a team with just one MLS away win to their name since April. Seattle are well positioned to better last season's second place finish in the Western Conference though, and they hit back 20 minutes later. Former Fulham striker Eddie Johnson heading in Christian Tiffert's free kick. Brad Evans was denied by the frame of the goal just before the hour, missing a golden chance to give Seattle the lead. but roared on by the home crowd, Seattle didn't leave them disappointed. And it was Johnson who ensured all 3 points stayed in Seattle. Freddie Montero delivered the ideal cross for Johnson to score his 13th of the year, a club record for goals in a single season. It also marked the first time in this campaign that Seattle had come from behind to win a game. Elsewhere, the Portland Timbers mini revival was halted as they lost 3-0 at the Colorado Rapids on Wednesday. There were just 4 games played in MLS last week due to the international matches taking place. Seattle's win lifted them up to second in the Western Conference, a point clear of Real Salt Lake with 2 games in hand. Chivas are second from bottom, a point above the Portland Timbers. San Jose still lead the way with the best record of all 19 MLS teams. In the East, Houston Dynamo are up to third after their late win over Real Salt Lake. Sporting KC top the pile, 4 points clear of the New York Red Bulls. New England are 8th, despite their victory against playoff-chasing Columbus Crew.
The Japanese season is also entering its final stretch. In midweek, the first legs of this year's Nabisco Cup semi-finals took place. The Ajinomoto Stadium in the country's capital saw FC Tokyo host Shimizu S-Pulse on Wednesday, with the home side hoping to follow up their Emperor's Cup success of 2011. Shimizu have reached the final of the League Cup 4 times in the past, winning it just once in 1996, only 5 years after their formation. And they drew first blood here, as a free kick found its way in by the head of Yuhei Tokunaga. FC Tokyo won the Emperor's Cup last year while still a second division club. Long-serving midfielder Nahiro Ishikawa played a key role in that triumph and their subsequent promotion to the top flight. He set up Yohei Kajiyama to crash in an equaliser before half-time. The second half saw both sides squander opportunities to take the lead. Genki Omai's miss for Shimizu, the most eye-catching of them all. And he was left to rue that as well as Yuichi Mariyama won a penalty for FC Tokyo after the merest of touches from Yoshike Kawai. Veteran Brazilian forward Lucas Severino was given the responsibility from the spot. And the man who cost French club Rennes a fee of more than €20 million 12 years ago had his nerve to set up an intriguing second leg next month. FC Tokyo have won the Nabisco Cup twice in the past decade, in 2004 and 2009. The other semi-final is also delicately poised after 4 times winners Kashima Antlers beat reigning league champions Kashiwa Reysol 3-2. The final of the J-League Cup will take place in late October.
David Beckham won our latest Goal of the Week poll. His trademark free kick for LA Galaxy against Vancouver, earning more than 60% of the votes in our worldwide poll on goal.com. As ever, we've got 5 more goals for you to pick from. First this week, Daniel De Motta's magnificent goal for European minnows Luxembourg in their World Cup qualifier against Portugal. Goal 2 is veteran Juan Arango's free kick for Venezuela in Peru. Colombia's well-worked 4th in their demolition of Uruguay is goal 3. Camilo Zuniga scoring after combining well with Radamel Falcao. Clarence Seedorf is still a force to be reckoned with. His first for Botafogo against Cruzeiro is goal 4. And goal 5 is Samuel Rosa's super curling effort for Brazil title hopefuls Fluminense at home to Santos. To vote for your favourite, all you need to do is to go to the video section on goal.com. On next week's Goal Show, we'll have more international football and the fight to reach the next World Cup finals. And we'll be in Sao Paulo as Palmeiras beat Corinthians in the Paulista Derby in Brazil.